Welcome to Mahabharata, Echoes of Eternity. Today's episode is a turning point in the saga, as the great war of Kurukshetra looms ever closer. In this episode, we focus on peace negotiations, Lord Krishna's crucial attempt to prevent the catastrophic war by seeking peace between the Kauravas and Pandavas. The stakes have never been higher, and Krishna's intervention may be the last hope for peace. But can it work, or is the war now inevitable? After the 13 years of exile, the Pandavas are finally preparing to return to Hastinapur. Their years of hardship and spiritual growth have strengthened them, but they seek a peaceful resolution. Yudhishthira, the eldest Pandava, desires nothing more than to reclaim his share of the kingdom without bloodshed. The offer is simple: give the Pandavas a small portion of land to govern, a gesture of fairness and justice. But the Kauravas, led by Duryodhana, are resolute in their pride. They refuse to even concede a single village to the Pandavas. This refusal ignites a dangerous conflict. Duryodhana's arrogance blinds him to the virtue of the Pandavas' request, and he believes that Hastinapur belongs solely to him. He is determined to keep the throne at all costs. The possibility of war becomes more likely by the day, as diplomacy seems to fail. But there is one last hope for peace. Krishna, the divine incarnation and cousin of the Pandavas, steps forward. Krishna, known for his wisdom and diplomacy, takes on the task of negotiating peace between the two factions. He believes that war must be avoided at all costs, but he knows that the Kauravas are unlikely to yield without pressure. Krishna, ever the strategist, does not approach the Kauravas with force but rather with counsel. He travels to Hastinapur as a messenger of peace, hoping to persuade Duryodhana to see reason. He offers a last chance for reconciliation, sending the strong message of unity and fairness. Krishna tells Duryodhana, "You are a ruler of great power, Duryodhana. But your kingdom will never prosper through injustice. The Pandavas are not asking for much, only what is rightfully theirs. If you refuse them, you will be sowing the seeds of destruction for your own kingdom." Krishna, who is both a friend and relative to the Kauravas and Pandavas, tries to use his familial bond to sway Duryodhana. Yet, despite Krishna's wisdom and sincerity, Duryodhana's heart is hardened by pride. He sees Krishna's intervention not as a genuine attempt at peace but as a threat to his own authority. In response, Duryodhana refuses to listen. He rejects Krishna's counsel outright, dismissing the idea of any compromise. Krishna pleads with him, offering the fair division of the kingdom, but Duryodhana remains obstinate. He will not give up his claim to the throne, no matter what the cost. Krishna's peace mission, unfortunately, meets a tragic and predictable end. Duryodhana's mind is made up. He will not share the kingdom with the Pandavas. His decision leaves Krishna with little option but to give up on peace negotiations. However, Krishna, ever pragmatic, shifts his focus to preparing the Pandavas for war. Before departing from Hastinapur, Krishna meets with the eldest Kaurava, Bhishma, the great patriarch of the Kuru family. Bhishma, torn between his loyalty to the throne and his affection for the Pandavas, also expresses his concerns about the looming war. He warns Krishna that this conflict will lead to immense loss and suffering for all involved. Yet, Bhishma, bound by his vows, refuses to intervene. The tragic reality sets in: the war is inevitable, and peace is no longer an option. Krishna returns to the Pandavas, bearing the sad news that Duryodhana has refused peace. Though peace seems impossible, Krishna gives one final message to Duryodhana through his emissaries. He says, There is still time to make peace. If you wish to avoid war, you must give the Pandavas what they deserve. I do not wish for bloodshed, but the consequences of your actions will be dire if you do not act wisely. Krishna also offers a final chance for Duryodhana: either concede the land to the Pandavas or prepare for war. In his heart, Krishna knows that the war has already been set in motion, but he still hopes that some miracle might prevent it. Duryodhana's response is cold and firm. He rejects Krishna's plea, further solidifying his stance: there is no place for the Pandavas in Hastinapur. Let the war come, I will not bow down. Returning to the Pandavas, Krishna conveys Duryodhana's message. His heart heavy with the realization that peace is no longer a possibility, Krishna tells Yudhishthira, the time for words has ended. Duryodhana has made his choice. Now we must prepare for battle. The war is inevitable, and I will stand by you in this righteous cause. With these final words, Krishna's role as a messenger of peace transforms into that of a warrior and guide for the Pandavas. This counsel will be crucial as the great war of Kurukshetra approaches. Krishna's wisdom, leadership, and divine powers will become a beacon for the Pandavas in the days to come. As Krishna's peace negotiations end in failure, the stage is set for the epic battle that will decide the fate of the Kuru dynasty. The refusal of Duryodhana to make peace with the Pandavas marks the point of no return. The war that has been building for years is now certain, and with it comes the knowledge that many lives will be lost, and the course of history will be forever altered. The tragic conflict of Kurukshetra is now unavoidable, but it is also a war for righteousness, Dharma, as the Pandavas fight to reclaim their rightful place in Hastinapur. In the next episode, we will dive into the early preparations for war as the Pandavas begin to gather their allies and fortify their resolve. Thank you for listening to this episode of Mahabharata, Echoes of Eternity. Stay tuned for the next chapter, where the great war of Kurukshetra begins.